My recovery, my time. The longer I take with my own recovery, the only time that ever gets wasted is my time. I could take the long way. I could not do all the pieces and the requirements that are set out before me, and it could take me 10 times longer than it has to. It only hurts myself by not fully giving myself to the program. I only waste my own time. When I first started my recovery, I kind of weighed it all out and was like, yeah, I could go in and out. I could this and that. I could kind of drink. I could kind of see, or I could just get this over with and cut through the mountain. I wanted the straight and narrow path. I just wanted I just didn't, I knew it was so hard. I knew what I was giving up. And I just wanted to just, okay, fine, let's move through it and to the next, to the good stuff, to the better life. And I guess this is the way, and it's a tough way, but that's the way that I wanted to do it. I think I started, and what really helped me was staying curious and staying consistent. I had committed to doing the whole thing right from the get-go. Like, once I had really, I already tried to quit drinking and behaviors and drugs. I already tried that for years, for so long. But my recovery didn't really start changing and making an impact in my life until I really hammered down and said, okay, fine, I'm done. Okay, fine. I give up. I'm not going to do it anymore. Like, I got to try a different way. I have to 100% give myself to this stuff. I can't go back. There's no other option. And when I made that decision, which didn't come easily or lightly or fast, right? When I made that set the tone for something. And by being curious, really, if you could ignite something like that in yourself in the get-go, I just started getting to work and turning every stone over, figuring out why I do things. Like, I've seen other people go through the program and they drop off meetings. They don't get a sponsor. They don't change the behaviors. They don't work on the defects. You put in the time, but they don't put in the action. And, there's lots of ways to do, there's lots of wrong ways to do a 12-step program, but there's only one right way to do it. The right way is the way that is the whole program. Like, rarely do we fail. So many people that have the greatest success, it's materializing. And I don't mean just in actual materials. I mean in consistency. I mean, these people are good people. They're happy people. They're positive people. They're consistent people all the way around. The home, the relationships, there should be evidence of thriving. There should be evidence of living. There should be, people that are really working the program, like the true leaders, have the joy on their face. They also show the pain when there's pain. Like, this is, growing constantly for your whole life. You should be just someone that is blossoming, like, over and over and again, right? Like, the journey, if it is getting boring, stagnant, or you're getting angry, then there's some tweaking to be done there, right? Like, recovery is constantly changing, but I'm consistently moving with that change and adapting to that change. I'm like a strong blade of grass, like a reed in the wind. I am standing tall and strong, and I'm blowing with the wind, but around the wind through like a strong reed, right? It's still cutting through the air, and still being a reed, is still there, it's still strong, but it learns how to sway. It learns how to move. Like, I come into recovery, I got a rocky boat, and learning how to drive that thing, it's like wham, one way, wham, the other way. And that's just part of recovery sometimes. It's like learning how to right the ship. but I'm on the ship. I got to move the ship, and my higher power can only steer a moving ship. And I need to be steering that with like all of the guidelines, priorities, boundaries, structure, movement, people, empathy, love, connection. I need to squeeze the grapes. And when I do that, I get filled and enriched by my higher power. And then get out of the way so my higher power can like add things to my life now. Like, can't be letting my ego run the show anymore. I gotta stay involved and be looking and listening and moving like that blade of grass in the wind, and just still being strong where I'm at, growing tall, but adapting, moving with the wind. And I think like in early recovery, it's like I was so rigid with so much stuff. I was trying to go fast. I was trying to fix everything quickly. I thought everything should be a certain way. I was just driving that ship more than I was letting my higher power drive that ship. And, it took me a time to get, I'd get accountable, then I have to get more accountable and more accountable for why my life wasn't working out the way it was. Because I'm the reason that my life isn't working out the way it is. I am the one that has to change, not everybody else, not my friends, family, and partner. I'm the one that has to change and now adapt my sobriety to the life I was in. And I'm allowed to make changes. I'm allowed to change my mind, like not on the giving up alcohol part, but like with decision making in my life and who I have in my life. There are things I can change and some things I cannot change. I've decided to not drink again, so that I'm not changing. But for today, for today and the next day and hopefully forever, I am committed to working on these changes. And that means I change my life and me in my life. And I do whatever I can to keep recovery first. So maybe I need a different job. Maybe I need a different relationship. Maybe I need new passions. Maybe I need more time off. Maybe I need time without the kids. Maybe, if there's still something wrong, it's like that feeling of something wrong is telling me something. It's not saying I need to sit there and suffer more and tolerate more and be a doormat. That's not the way my life was supposed to be made. My life was given to me to be lived, to use my gifts and to be who I am and to be happy, joyous, and free. So that is my mission, to get to those places, right? And so I am going to have to maneuver and change my life with my higher power in the ways to make it like that, to make it so. And when I put recovery first, everything comes around that and after that and in time. But I got a trust problem in the beginning. It takes time. I've got to work the steps, do the steps. And some of the steps are going to work me. And that's happened for me. Like some steps I thought I did until actually they happened to me in certain situations down the road. So recovery is not black and white. It's not right now or never. It's not this or that. It's very gray. And it's very different, and not one situation is the same as the other situation or the same as for that person. Everyone's got a different story and a different path and a different way to get there. But for me, what really helped me was like fully committing to it, stop wasting my time, and being very curious and seeking and looking for every single thing, like why I did stuff, why I thought the way I thought, and like really getting to those roots of those issues, and like even going way back to like childhood, because I was starting to notice lots of patterns in my life, and patterns really tell me something about myself. Those are my character patterns. So I think that, I would have been way farther back behind, wasting more of my own time if I just didn't give fully to the program And I'm grateful for that I did do that back then. And it was really hard. There's so many times I thought, this is wrong. This is too hard. I can't stand it. But that's all signs of growth. Figuring it out, making mistakes. I have learned from every single one that now, like, it's an opportunity to learn something. It's a step stool. And so not every bad thing is against me, but for me. And not every person that is at me they're not at me. They're just for themselves. Everyone is for themselves, with consideration to others, but not to be putting yourself last, learning to put yourself first, and taking care of yourself and being, what are my needs? What are my loves? What are my wants? Like, that's all very, very important stuff. Very important stuff to be living that way. So recovery can give you what you want if you can give into recovery. Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.